passive versus proactive business management. What do I mean? Well, I can only talk about my experiences over many decades with small business, and you see the people that are proactive in their business. They have processes, they have systems, they know what's happening, they know what their product is, what it costs to produce the product. They know if they sell that particular product at a particular market price, where they will be in the profit or loss category. People that are passive are people that just roll along. They may have one account where they put the business and their own personal money in the one account. They have no structure. They don't know if the business is running at a profit. They don't pay themselves a wage. They don't have any superannuation strategies or structure. And they're not even considering succession planning or what's going to happen if something happens to them with their business. That is, something happens to their health. So to be proactive, I know my product. I have a system where my product pays me a wage. Now, why do I need to be paid a wage, and why do I need to have superannuation? Well, if I employed somebody to do the job, I would have to pay him a wage and pay him super. Why wouldn't I do the same for myself? And I understand that that can be a burden, but the reality is, if my business structure pays me a wage and I have separate accounts for that, I can then know this is my money. Because one of the problems with some of the businesses I see is that the business is so hungry for money. I can develop, let's say it's a property. How much can I put into it? Well, who knows? How long's a bit of string? The reality is I can invest and I can invest and I can invest every cent. So I need to have the discipline that my business has paid the wage, my business has paid this, my business is structured, the cash flow's there, and I have this money, the surplus, which allows me then to set up a capital budget. So I've got a certain amount of money that I can invest in capital. So all of a sudden, I might need X on my property or in my business. Okay, how long is it going to take me through my cash flow and my profits to be able to fund X? All right. The other thing that I find that people do is the proactive manager will look at his cash flow and he will run his business at a debt level that can be managed during difficult times. So I'll pick on the farmers, property, cattle prices are good, I'm getting a bit of rain, grain prices are good, whatever. Okay, so I borrow some money because I've got a X value. I can borrow this much money. Let's say I've got a $10 million property. Well, I could borrow 5 easy. That's a 50% lend. The bank will do that. Well, hang on. Before I borrow 50%, I have to think about, do I have the cash flow to pay the interest on that, especially in tough times? I might be able to do it today quite simply because prices for my commodity are good and I have the lowest interest rates on record. That's fine. But what if and when times get tougher, when interest rates go up, when inflation goes up, when, not if, when, where will I be? I do not want the bank to own your business. I do not want debt to be driving you and maintaining you working harder than you have to and staying on the land or in your business longer than you have to, or postponing the succession plan because you simply can't afford it. That all comes with debt and debt management. A key to any good business structure is to have debt well managed and to preferably have my debt come down and run it at a level that in the bad times I can cope. That way I'm guaranteed, so to speak, guaranteed that when tough times come, I will have the cash flow to be able to handle my debt. So my asset has nothing to do with the amount of debt I can carry. Asset lending is an absolute furphy, absolutely a great way to get in trouble. If I've got something worth $10, it does not mean I can borrow 5. What it means is I've got an asset that produces $10. What cash flow can I have from that $10 asset? That is telling me, after wages, after overheads, what I can afford to borrow, not the asset. So a little bit of a rundown on proactive and passive business management. Be proactive, talk to people, talk about your debt, have a look at the structure, consider your cash flow, examine it, examine your product, know what your costs are, know that when I sell my widget, this is my margin, this is my profit. If you do not know what your profit is, if you don't know what your margin is or your loss, if you don't understand that, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble, because you're a passive, you're reactive, you're not proactive, and you're not being running the business as such. The business is running you. So let's talk about engaging somebody, whoever that is, and trying to develop a proactive approach to our business structure and our cash flow opportunity. Thanks for listening.